Hello everyone and welcome back to my video series. First of all, I want to give very warm words of appreciation to everyone who has shown encouragement and support and sent messages in reaction to my very first introduction video. It was so amazing seeing the enthusiasm, the excitement over this video series, and I also share your enthusiasm because this has been a long time coming, and let's run this together. Thank you so much. Now, moving to today's conversation, I'll be discussing the topic discovering yourself, finding you. You see, before we begin to start or discuss lofty ideas about impact and career development and self-development and one health and all of that, the topic of discovering yourself or finding yourself really forms the basis as to how you start that journey. And this is why I brought up this topic. Because first, you need to ask yourself some very critical foundational questions. Things like, who am I? Things like, what interests me? Why exactly am I here? All of these things are important to really understanding how you can proceed with improving yourself, with developing yourself, or improving your career or profession. Now, while self-discovery or discovering yourself and finding yourself is not exactly a new term, I'm sure that many of us have heard about it before today. But how being intentional about this process really what sets us apart from the rest of everyone. So everybody needs to take some time and have an intentional exercise about self-discovery. So let's get started. Now, in the process of discovering yourself, there are some critical, like I mentioned before, there are some critical questions that you need to ask. And I kind of divided these questions into some very like building blocks of how to get that started with. So one of the first things you need to understand is knowing who you are. So what exactly is it about knowing who you are? You need to ask yourself, what are your innate abilities? What is your strengths? What are you very good at doing? You need to ask yourself, what are your interests? What exactly are you really passionate about? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What are the things that affect your mood? What are the problems of this world that really make you worry? What solutions do you have to addressing those problems? Another thing is what makes you excited? What makes what makes your creative juices running? What are the things that when you do it, you feel this rush of excitement, a rush of fulfillment, like you're actually doing something good for yourself or doing something great for the world? Now we move better to understanding your successes and your challenges. Now, talking about successes and challenges, let's pedal back a little bit. What was your background like? You need to ask yourself those very critical questions. What were you exposed to? What were the things that you consider as challenges? What were the things that you consider as failures? How did you handle your failures? That's a very good question. What about successes? What about achievements? What happened during those times and how did you also handle them? So knowing how you previously handled successes and failures really tell a lot about who you are. Now, let's go to another critical point, which is the values and belief system. What exactly, or let me start by saying, have you even sat down to really think about your core values? What exactly are the things that you hold there that you cannot compromise for anything? Now, what about your belief systems? We have several, different people believe in different things. Some is based on religion, some, are humanists, some are atheists. What exactly are those things that you base your values and your beliefs on? Very, very important questions. And also, talking further about belief systems, how has your belief system or your core values affected your relationship with others? And this is particularly important because we're in a world where we have people with diverse beliefs, diverse cultures, diverse values that they hold strongly to. And what are the things that are considered like no-go areas for you? You cannot associate yourself with this. All of these things are very important in defining them, in understanding them, and giving you a guidance or a notion as to exactly who you are. Now, let's move to another interesting topic, which is talking about personality. What's your personality like? I think this can be quite easy for many people to do, but an introvert or an extrovert or what they now call ambivert, that's somebody who is in between the introvert and extrovert spectrum. Are you the kind of person who you consider yourself like easygoing and fun and fast paced and very action oriented? Or you're a little bit more calm, laid back, you take your time in making very thoughtful decisions, and it depends on you. Just put all of that together to describe the kind of person that you are. Now, let's move to another very important topic. I think this is one of the most important topics, especially in this world that we live in, the topic of triggers and mental health. First of all, you need to ask yourself, what do you even understand by mental health? What are really those sore points or topics or issues that trigger your places of pain, or whether it's your anxiety? Another thing is, what circumstances dig up like very painful pasts or painful reflections of the past for you? And maybe one critical question to further ask is, have you sought to find professional help to address some of these things? Or on the other hand, what improves your mental health? What optimizes your mental health? What kind of situation or surroundings make you feel better about yourself or put you in a better place mentally and psychologically? And now let's go to friends and influences. So who are your friends? Who are your friends? Who are the people that you look up to for support? Who are the people that you look up to as mentors? Who are the people who you rely on for support, who you rely on for help when you have challenges or issues? This is also very important. And what qualities do they have that make you see them as that make you have them as friends or even as mentors? What are the things that you think that you also wish to have for yourself? What are those things that you admire about them? And why do you admire that about them? How does it reflect on your personality? Very, very key, important question to ask too. Lastly, the last set of questions really border around what are your life expectations? What are the expectations that you want from life? What do you see as the ideal life? What do you see in yourself as the ideal person? What are you expecting to achieve in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? What do you see yourself going to? How do you want to live your life? And also, what impact do you want to make on the world? Now, while we have addressed so many questions and so many things to consider, understand that these questions are not exhaustive. Many times when you go through this process and you start the process of documenting, a lot of times some further questions might even evolve from this, and sometimes you might have answers that lead to further questions. So it's important for you to keep an open mind and feel free to explore even deeper and further than what you have, what has been presented in terms of in the video or in the text I'll be giving you. So these are so many questions that will give you the best guidance that you can have in discovering yourself. But I want you to be able to take some very key actions even after listening to the videos, because that's how you're able to incorporate your learnings as much as possible into your everyday life. And one thing I want you to do is that I want you to be able to document document these answers to these questions and really take your time to write them out. And that's why I have a very, very wonderful task for you. So what I want you to do is to go to the link in the YouTube description box, and you will find a template that you can download with many of the questions that I've talked about in this video. Very wonderful questions that guide you. And you can use that as a template to start answering them, to start documenting them. You can choose to document whether on the sheet of paper with a pen, or you can use your phone, or you can use your notepad, or you can use your laptop or your computer, or you can even do a voice note. As long as you have it documented, that's the important thing. Because I want you to have this as a basis for which you can be able to reflect on in the next 5 years, 10 years, even 20 years from now. So I want you to take this exercise very seriously. And one more thing that I want you to do is that when you have finished completing this exercise, you can come to the comment section and share your experience with us to let us know how this process has been for you. Was it illuminating? Did you find any surprising discoveries about yourself? And everyone can learn from each other and we can have a good time learning together. We have come to the end of this video and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where I'll be talking more about discovering yourself. It's a part 2. And again, I can't remind you enough, ensure that you do this task. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.